Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Here in Lloydminster, Lakeland College had an eventful morning today with a big gift announcement they've received from Cenovus Energy. The $650,000 donation is primarily in support of Lakeland College's Indigenous student supports. Cenovus Energy is wanting to invest in the future of Indigenous youths in the Lloydminster community.
It includes 25 scholarships. It includes sponsorship of the Spirit North Youth Leadership Program, which looks to enable and make young leaders unstoppable in the areas of sport, school, and life. And it also looks to invest in the Inspire Awards, and those look to recognize outstanding individual achievement.
Lakeland student Jonathan Albert is one of many selected to be in the President's Circle and has been able to help with the Indigenous Student Council. He believes this gift will benefit Lakeland College greatly.
Like, our college is receiving a lot of money to help First Nation Aboriginal students and to take off the financial burden off their shoulders, right? Because as we all know, school costs a lot of money, right? And if you're an older, mature student like myself, I'm 43 and having mortgage, kids, all that kind of stuff, it's a lot of pressure. Plus, you still got to go to school and try to get good grades, so.
Cenovus Energy plans to continue investing in the Lloydminster community, not only in academia, but other areas as well. Now, the Lloydminster Rotary Club had quite the turnout today as they welcomed new guest speakers. 4 students from Lakeland College spoke to the club on their student-managed bison farm. As a new project started by the college, students are in charge of feeding, herding, and taking care of the bison.
So we do health checks. We'll go out in the truck, drive around the herd, check the feed, check the condition of our animals, see if anything is ill or limping. The bison were donated by Armin and Rita Mueller, part of Rangeland Bison and Elk, and they were donated to the college along with a $4 million donation to help the college find land and establish a herd.
Now, this is the first year Lakeland College has established the bison farm and is hard at work growing their herd.
So what the goal right now is just getting our name kind of out there, raising a healthy herd. It's a cow-calf operation, so we're selling the calves and then selling any culls. We are kind of the pioneers, I guess you would say, of it. We're really trying to work on getting the outline for future years, getting our records, getting a good foundation for the future SMFs to go off of.
The college owns 8 quarters of land, but only 5 are used towards bison. The rest is used towards the beef herd. With the holiest month for the Muslim religion underway, our Zach Kenny stopped by a local mosque to bring us more on what is planned to celebrate Ramadan in Lloydminster.
Ramadan began March 22nd and will go until April 20th. This month being one of the most important for the Muslim faith, they will keep a fast for the whole entire month.
Ramadan is it's a very important in Muslim culture. This is the holiest month of Muslim culture based on lunar calendar. In this holy month, Muslims keep fast. So it's not just a fast like you don't eat anything during the certain times, but it's a fast about like nobody should be getting hurt by your tongue. And it's a fast for your ears too. Like you shouldn't be listening to those things which are harmful for your soul.
Most Muslims celebrate the same way, keeping a food fast for the day while also fasting from the bad things and focusing on self-healing and spreading positivity.
Everyone, when Ramadan comes, they have a very different feeling. They have very good excitement they're waiting for the days when the Ramadan starts, and they want to get up early in the morning, which in other days you might don't feel it. You'll feel actually a really change within yourself that you want to get up actually. Nobody will tell you, nobody force you, but it's your inside tells you to get up. You want to have fast tomorrow morning.
During the month of Ramadan, the fast is broken after sunset and begins at dawn. The mosque provides foods for one's fasting on Saturdays after the evening prayer, as well as after the sun sets.
We will have food prepared right in the hallway in the kitchen area, and members will be eating over there. But normally how we break our fast is because of a practice of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The practice is that you break your fast or open your fast with a date. If you have it, if not, then a cup of water, a glass of water, whatever it is.
The month of Ramadan leads up to another Muslim holiday, which is a celebration for the holiest month in the faith.
After the 30 days or the month of Ramadan is over, there is a celebration called Eid. They come to the mosque to offer prayers to be grateful to God Almighty, and then they begin their celebration. Celebrations normally are basically meeting your family. Sometimes people go out of Lloyd to visit families of different cities, or sometimes they have families coming over in Lloyd. So the purpose is just to get together, take a day off or two from work, and enjoy that time with family and enjoy the meals together.
After spreading positivity and fasting during Ramadan, Eid is the time to spend with your close and loved ones, and to enjoy the food that's cooked in honor. Zach Kenny, Primetime, Local News.
Happy Ramzan Mubarak to everybody.
And now it's time for our weekly look into the archives. This is Retrospect. We start Retrospect this week in 1994 with a Wainwright area MP looking for the community's view on medical-assisted dying.
I want to hear your points of view on the issue, and the issue tonight that we're talking about, maybe physician-assisted suicide. You could also call it mercy killing, euthanasia, or death by choice.
The issue of physician-assisted suicide, or someone helping someone else to die, was front and center last night in Wainwright and brought out various opinions about the controversial issue, an issue that the federal Liberals have promised a free vote on in the House of Commons later this year, with all MPs voting on the issue.
I don't think it's right for you, me, or anybody else to make a decision when somebody's time is up. I think God has got the only right there.
Well, I don't know, and that's why I'm here tonight, I guess, to find out both sides, and I'm getting the feeling I'm only hearing one side, and I want to keep my mind open and make sure I have both sides of the story.
Before Reform MPs cast their ballot on this contentious issue, they want to know what the people they're representing have to say. Benoit is strongly against physician-assisted suicide, but everyone living in Benoit's constituency can expect to receive a survey in the next month to voice their opinion on the issue, and what they have to say will be heard in Ottawa.
I don't know that I'm hearing a balanced view. That's why the survey is critical. And then that's why the survey will be going out to every household in the constituency. And I will vote for what the majority of the people that return this survey tell me.
Moving forward to 1998, area producers are facing a rodent issue.
It can be a very serious economic hardship to many farmers.
As if producers don't have enough to worry about in the spring, now is also the time to plan for rodent control, specifically pocket gophers and Richardson ground squirrels. Vertebrate pest specialist John Bourne says they can wreak havoc on your farm.
Damage to machinery and so on, because these animals leave large deposits of soil on the surface, and it also may preclude harvesting, and may even preclude the use of a pasture land simply because it's so heavily infested.
Bourne says population numbers do not seem to be dropping, so it's a management issue, and there are several tools available to producers to control the rodents. They include ready-to-use baits as well as anticoagulants, which are mixed on the farm.
The downside to the anticoagulants is that you probably need a second and maybe a third feeding of the ground squirrels. The ready-to-use baits, such as this ready-to-use bait, is a strychnine-based bait that is already mixed with the grain.
Richardson ground squirrels can also be eradicated with a new ready-to-use zinc phosphide mix, traps, or fumigants. However, if you have a serious problem, you'll want to use either a ready-to-use or anticoagulant. For pocket gophers, the traps and zinc phosphide mix can also be used, as well as some strychnine-based products. Bourne says he has not seen any pocket gophers or ground squirrels become tolerant to those baits. However, there is sometimes what's called bait shyness.
When you do place out even the anticoagulants, you place out enough so there's a sufficient bait for the rodents to consume to reduce that population down to a tolerable level. If there's a good time, this is probably as good a time as any. You've got adult males, adult females for ground squirrels emerging now, and by removing those animals, you're removing 6 or 7-fold the problem you might have 2 or 3 months from now.
And this has been our week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark, who has a look at weather.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We are just sitting at -11. Unfortunately, we are starting off quite cool for this new week, especially with that wind chill feeling around -17. So definitely starting off on a cooler note as we start off this new week, but hopefully everybody's still enjoying it, because once you step outside, you know, that sunshine peeking behind those clouds definitely warms things up quite a bit if you're outside whatsoever. But please make sure you are still wearing a nice jacket to stay warm outside, because we will hopefully be seeing these temperatures start to warm up later on through the week. Looking at temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan, on the Alberta side, most spots seeing around -8 to -9 degrees seems to be the common pattern on the Alberta side. Looking at -7 up in Lac La Biche, while we are seeing -6 over in Edmonton. So Edmonton is seeing slightly warmer just by a couple degrees at -6. Going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are kind of matching with us with our Alberta side with these conditions, although most are seeing those double digits kind of matching with us here more in the border city with -10s in most spots, -9 in other spots with Pearsland, Green Lake, and down in Macklin. And of course, we have the coolest with those -11s with Meadow Lake and down in North Battleford. North Battleford will be going down to low of -21 for their evening low. So we are hitting those -20s in our surrounding areas for our evening low temperatures, unfortunately. Although condition-wise, it will be pretty calm tonight for North Battleford. Won't be too high chances of some flurries. Then their daytime high for tomorrow for their Tuesday, -6. That single digit is making its way back, and they will be looking at a mixture of some sun and clouds. So a little bit more sunshine is expected from North Battleford tomorrow. Cold Lake will be going out to low of -17, so almost quite hitting that -20 mark, although with that wind chill, they probably will be feeling just past it for tonight. So definitely cooling down quite a bit for Cold Lake. Then tomorrow looking at -3 for their daytime highs, so definitely a warmer condition, although throughout the day they will be seeing a bit of morning snow starting off right in the morning there, seeing around 1 to 2 centimeters of some snowfall. So just be prepared, you will be seeing a switch up in those conditions tomorrow, because you will be seeing those flurries, and then we'll be seeing a lot more sun peeking behind those clouds. So that'll kind of help melt things down. For us here in the border city, we will be going down to a low of -16, so hitting those double digits tonight, continuing on. We will be cooling down quite a bit. We have seen cooler than this, though, so I don't think we can complain too much. And then for our daytime high for our Tuesday, -3, so we will actually see some things warm up throughout the week, and we will be seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud tomorrow. So make sure to get out there and enjoy it, because we will be seeing a nicer day tomorrow for sure here in the border city. And now ending off with a look at some more photos of those northern lights that we were checking out last week. We had some more submissions throughout the weekend. Love to see it. This is a nice one here. Looks like they're maybe doing some grilling. Got a nice shot there, the barbecue in the front, and then got the nice view in the back. I think that is amazing. This one's beautiful. Thank you so much for this shot. I absolutely love to see it. I feel like a lot of people got some great photos of these, so really appreciate it. This is another one here. Gorgeous. You got that green and purple in the sky there. And this is the last one here from Gemini Soul Wellness. Thank you for this. Absolutely gorgeous photos. Thank you once again to everyone. And that's all I have for now. Let's throw it to Jace.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Shelby. Loved seeing those aurora there. After the break, though, we have a story of a family caught up in a dispute with a Canadian airline. Lakeland College student-managed farm hosted their Roundup sale on Saturday. Here's our Thomas Wildman with more.
The Roundup sale was very well attended by many students and members of the public. On offer were 8 geldings from the equine unit, 13 purebred Angus bulls, and 4 purebred Angus heifers from the purebred unit, and 2 pens of commercial heifers from the commercial beef unit. The sale this year was one of their most successful yet, and the coordinators were very pleased with the result.
I think it went really good. I think we averaged about $1,500 up on the bulls, and the horses averaged up. All the teams got together yesterday afternoon and set it all up, and we've been working on it all year with our Roundup committee and our teams, and it all came together today, and I think it went really well.
For many of the students who had never worked on a sale before, the valuable lessons in marketing and teamwork will be very useful to them as they become a part of the agriculture industry.
Yeah, you know, I don't come from a purebred background, so myself, this is my first sale, especially being a part of putting it on. So just having the experience and being able to surround myself with people like these guys that do know what they're talking about, like Will and Carter, who are the Roundup coordinators for the purebred team. Super intelligent guys, come from really strong purebred backgrounds, putting on their own bull sales. So it's really fun to see a different side of the industry, and especially being a part of it now. And you know, moving forward, I'll be able to maybe put that on a resume that I am capable of doing that, and it just broadens your spectrum of things that you're able to do in the world.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime, Local News.
Well, it's time now again for a familiar face here on Primetime Local News. Spring arrived this week. Jack Burnett is with us from the Old Farmer's Almanac. Jack, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be with you and everybody in your audience, Stacy. You know, just like spring, you can count on me. I'm there for you.
Well, let's talk about now that we're in spring, Jack. We're out of the winter. We're past the winter blues. I hope we're not going to see some of that carry over into spring, but just give me the news straight out. What are we going to experience here for spring for the next couple of months?
Yeah, I'm gonna spring it on you. You know, actually, I have to tell you, Stacy, I think it looks really nice. I think it looks like a really good spring. It's going to be warmer. It's going to be a little bit wetter, but not to some super extent. So the way, and I think for growers and gardeners, you know, ranchers, I think it's going to be, very, beneficial. And so the way it breaks down, the way we see it is that we have March, the rest of March being above normal temperatures, April slightly above, May a couple degrees above, and then June 1 degree above. And then we get into the summer. Summer's going to be good too. So you can see we get some thawing. We get the ground. We get the soil temperature up. So I think it's going to be nice to be outside. Some of my friends in your neck of the woods, they got to get your clubs out and start swinging on people. You know who I'm talking to. So that'll be good. As far as moisture goes, we're going to get the moisture into the ground kind of easily and gently through the first part of the spring. Then, it'll be slightly above normal. It'll really be, a couple or 40 millimeters above normal in May, but that's okay. We'll get it done. And then in June, it drops off, so as things are starting to, get going, they're not going to get flooded out and, and just all bogged down and rotted and rusted and so on. So I think that'll be good, and then when we get into the summer, again, the temperatures will be a little bit more normal, and then we'll start to see slightly more precipitation. So that'll, I think if you have a green thumb or a brown thumb or any kind of thumb, if you have any thumbs, it's going to be a good spring and I think a good summer.
Well, it's kind of nice to hear too, Jack, because heading into summer, you never know. We got some, pretty warm temperatures last summer, and that's not everybody's cup of tea. Everybody kind of likes the mild weather too. So I know it's quite far in advance yet, but do you think this summer we're going to see some extremely hot weather, or is it just going to, level off and give us the nice summer that we want?
Well, I think I think there'll be spells of really hot weather, but I think in general, it's not going to be like last year. I mean, that's tough to duplicate in many respects. Things are pretty wacky these days, as you know. At my house here in New England, a week ago, I got 90 centimeters of heavy, wet snow. At this time, I was like running my snowblower on like overtime. So it's crazy everywhere. But I think I know that our meteorologists, took a good long look at this, and it's just like storms in the winter, blizzards in the winter. Are there going to be a lot of blizzards? Well, they're going to be some or one or two or whatever, but because it's winter, it's the same thing. Are there going to be hot, dry spells, in the summer? Well, of course, it's the prairies, but in general, I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year for sure.
One thing we could always usually count on, Jack, is having a couple of really good spring snowstorms where even if they only last a day, we get that real heavy, wet snow. Usually towards April, middle of April, that kind of happens. Do you see any major precipitation events or just kind of on an even keel?
No, we don't see any major ones. You and I've talked before about how we don't really call out anything major unless they're like, massive. Our meteorologists see all these indicators like more than normal. So they didn't see any for this April. Again, that's not to say that there might not be one, but there was nothing that really jumped out, to us that would cause us to, make a specific attempt to call something.
Well, Jack, it is always a pleasure speaking with you. I learn so much every time we have a conversation. So thank you again for joining us. And we'll chat again closer to summer and we'll see if the weather's changed a little bit or how things are going to play out. So thanks again for chatting and we'll chat again soon.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Stacy.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm happy to be joined here today by author Mark Leslie. He has a new book out that's the sixth in his Canadian Werewolf series. It's called Hex in the City. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Abby. Great to be here.
Of course. Now, tell me a little bit about what this book is, where the inspiration came from, and how it fits into the series.
Sure. So, Hex in the City, just to hold up a little prop here for you, is the sixth book in the Canadian Werewolf series. It's co-authored with myself and a good friend of mine from California, Julie Strauss. And it's a dual perspective thriller. It's action, adventure, humor, as you can probably tell a little bit from the title, paranormal, urban fantasy, all the fun stuff. I've written the point of view of Michael Andrews, who's the main character. He is a Canadian who happens to live in New York City, and he's cursed with lycanthropy. Turns into a wolf, an actual gray wolf, for 10 days out of the month every year. As a human, he has extrasensory powers and strength, etc. So he kind of uses those to help other people. Gets himself into all kinds of trouble because he can't help sticking his scent, if not his nose, into other people's business to help out. And his best friend, Gail Summers, who runs an occult shop. They were a couple at one point. They became really good friends, and they kind of fight bad guys alongside one another. And this is when they accidentally uncover an ancient curse, and the whole world goes to hell, almost literally, as these demons start popping up from this ancient curse. And the two of them have to figure out how they're going to defeat these creatures, because part of the curse is they can't do it together. They have to fight separately. So Julie writes Gail's point of view, I write Michael's point of view, and it's got humorous moments. It's got lots of action and lots of adventure and lots of spooky magic stuff.
That sounds really cool and different and a great genre to write about. Was it easy having a co-author? What was that process like?
It's easy when you have the right co-author. It's like a partnership. It's like, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. It's very much, and it's a longer term relationship when you think about the life of copyright. But it is, and Julie's in California. I'm here in Ontario, Canada, and we used a few online tools, and we've used spreadsheets to plot things out. There's a company called Plotter. We use that to do some visual plotting. So we we tag teamed back and forth over the course of several months, where I'd write my chapter and then pass it over to Julie, and she would write the next one. And so we kind of followed this timeline. And I need to know, what day is it? Where, what's the weather like? And because it's set back in 2017. Does Michael turn into a wolf tonight at sundown? So all of these things we have to map out. But it was a wonderful process, because we not only, before it even went to our editor, we were editing each other's work back and forth. And we knew kind of what the high level outline was, but we didn't know the details. So it was so much fun when I got Julie's chapters, because I knew roughly what was going to happen, but I had no idea, like the details and the dialogue. And it was like a treat. And then by the time the editor got it, we'd already been through it so many times that I think it only took our editor about a week and a half before she got it back to us. And then we, went into second round of edits. But it was a great experience. But again, you have to have the right partner.
With this series, can the books be read as standalones, or does it need to be read in order?
No, that's a great question. Thank you. And so I very purposely tried to write each book as if it could be read as a standalone. Now, it does follow a sequential timeline over the course of several years. And for readers who've read them all, there's, things happen and characters change and come in and out of the story. So there's a bit of that. It can be read as a standalone, but because there's so much of a backstory, and I don't want people to feel they have to go back and read the first 5 books in the series, Julie and I created the story so far. And so at the very opening of the book, Hex in the City, there's a thing that says, hey, this has spoilers, but if you want to get a quick 1-paragraph summary for the previous 5 novels, there will be spoilers. And there's plenty of warnings about spoilers, but it can allow someone to say, okay, in 5 minutes, I can get caught up and understand how we got to this point. And hopefully that allows people to feel a little bit more comfortable. We tell the backstory. We go back and try to fill in the backstory, but not too much, because you don't want to disappoint the readers who have been following along. But it's almost like, a TV series where, a weekly episodic show is like, previously on, a nice little summary, so you can kind of go, okay, that's where they're going this week.
That's perfect for people who may not want to read the full series, but a few books here and there. Now, where can people find this book and the rest of the series?
They're all in hardcover, paperback, ebook. The audiobook for the newest one is not out yet. It is currently being produced by the 2 brilliant narrators that we have for that. But they're available pretty much anywhere books are sold online. You can even ask for them at the library. And if you're looking to find links to all those places, you can go to books2read.com/Mark Leslie, and you'll find obviously the Canadian Werewolf series and all my other books there.
Awesome. Well, this book and the rest of your series sounds like a great read. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Abby.
Ending off with taking a quick look again at your 7-day forecast. We will be looking at -3 tomorrow with a mixture of some sun and clouds, so please make sure to enjoy it. We will be warming up tomorrow for sure. Then warming up even more Wednesday with that 1-degree mark, although seeing a high chance of some flurries that'll melt down pretty quick as we head into Thursday, Friday with -2, -1, and then we will continue that nice warm streak into our weekend with -4 Saturday and -3 Sunday, and ending off heading into next week. We will even be starting off Monday with -6.
All right, thank you so much for that, Shelby. And thank you all for starting your week with us here on Primetime Local News. I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.